Hey, hi, hello, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be judging you guys on your weird reading habits. You weirdos, you freaks, you geeks, my people, my fam, my friends. I went over on my Instagram and asked you guys to submit your weird reading habits, and today I'm going to be reacting, roasting, and judging all of you. I'm probably mostly going to just be relating to you because I also have a lot of weird reading habits, and I feel like I'm just going to be able to relate to every single one of these. I love hearing like the weird things that people do surrounding reading, whether it be like weird rituals you have before you actually read or weird things that you do while you're reading. It's just really interesting seeing like the different habits that people develop while reading. I'm trying to think of like one of my weird reading habits. I know that I have a lot. I probably have a whole video's worth of weird reading habits that I could make. Maybe that will come soon. Anyway, let's get started. If I get to the third act of a book I love, I have to start reading a different book or else I won't finish it. I'm fascinated by this because it's almost like you're stalling the end of that book by picking up another book. But like you said, picking up another book motivates you to finish the third act. I'm confused. I'm intrigued. I want to know like the method behind this. Like what about this pushes you to carry on? Because I feel like I would be the type to get like distracted by that new book that I pick up and would just like never finish the other book. Even though I'm known for like reading multiple books at the same time and like it's not that hard for me to like bounce back and forth between books. But like I could just see myself ditching the book that I'm reading for the shiny new book. So like what stops you from ditching the book? I need to know. How do you do it? Why do you do it? I'm confused. I need answers. So if you could answer all my questions down below in the comments, I'd appreciate that. If I run out of tea while reading, I go make another cup immediately. Otherwise, I'm not sophisticated. Can't have that. Can't not be sophisticated. Gotta have that sophistication meter filled to the top, filled to the brim. Honestly, I get this one though, like not necessarily like in the sophistication lane because like when am I ever sophisticated? That would be never. That is the answer. Ding, 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 ding. Never. But I always have to have a beverage on hand. If I don't have something on the side that I can sippy sip every chapter or so, then what's the point? I gotta have my sippy sips on the side. We've got the full-on course meal in our hands with the book. And the sippy sip on the side is like the little dessert, or I guess like the drink to the meal. Yeah, that would make more sense. If I really love a character, I sometimes have to Google to see if they survive. Honestly, I would never, but I see you, I hear you, I respect you. Because you've got to take care of yourself, and if a character that you love is gonna die, you need to prepare yourself for that sometimes. Like, you can't just like have that come in and completely shake up your life, completely ruin your life, and like send you into a mourning period where you're not able to pick up any book ever. But what I want to know is when you Google the name and you see if the character dies, if you find out that the result is death, do you keep reading the book, or are you like, nah, no, I don't need to see that. I'm going to not go along with that. I'm going to live my life as if that character is alive and well. Or do you keep reading it and still torture yourself by seeing how they pass away? That's what I want to know. That's the question. Answer it in the comments, please. Crisscross applesauce. Oh, we got a crisscross applesauce girly, do we? See, I don't mind the crisscross position. It's not bad. It's pretty sturdy. It's pretty stable. But I like to stretch out the legs because crisscross applesauce for long periods of time will make my legs ache and will put my legs to sleep probably. And I will try to get up without thinking, and I will suddenly be on the ground yelling, "Help! I've fallen and I can't get up." Is anybody else in the crisscross applesauce club? Or is anybody in my club, the stretch out the legs club? Reading and not doing anything until I'm done with the book. I see how it is. God really does have favorites. How does it feel to not be distracted by everything ever while you are reading a book? How does it feel to not have a thought pop in your mind and distract you from reading? How does it feel to not have a phone notification not distract you? How does it feel to be God's favorite? I need to know. Goodness. My husband has to walk around while he's reading, otherwise he loses focus. See, I don't understand this. I don't understand the humans who can just like walk around and just read a book aimlessly. Like, how do you do it? Or are you just not a clumsy human? You're probably just not a clumsy human, because I am a clumsy human. Like, I would walk into something, stub my toe, I would trip over something and end up on the ground, or I would not really focus on the words in front of me. I'd be more so focused on walking around. I don't understand. How do you people do this? How do you reader walkers do it? I mean, audiobooks and walking, yeah, I'm all about that. I'm here for that. But like actually physically holding a book and reading it as I'm like walking around, no. That is a 911 situation. Called the ambulance. Jesse has fallen over and broken a hip. I wash my hands every time before I read a book. As you should. I don't think this is weird. I think this is you respecting the books and being like, I need to clean up my filthy hands in order to touch the beautiful magicalness that is my book. I see it as you being a respectful reader, honestly, which I guess makes me disrespectful because I do not tend to wash my hands before I read a book. But you know what? There's two types of people in the world. The ones that wash their hands before reading a book and the ones that are like me. Filthy, nasty, gross. I'm not filthy, I'm not nasty, I'm not gross. I just don't wash my hands before I read a book. I just don't. But I do wash my hands a lot. I'm not dirty, I promise. Don't judge me. I feel your judgment. I feel it. I have to count the pages of each chapter before I read them. I get this one, trust me. We are on the same page. I do this often too. I might not necessarily count the amount of pages in a chapter each time I read a book, but I will flip to the next chapter just to kind of get an estimate of the amount of pages. And I don't know why I do it, because sometimes it really messes me up, because if I see it's a longer chapter, I'm like, like I instantly dread it. I'm like, this is going to take me forever to read this chapter and to get to the next chapter, which is so stupid. Like, it does not matter. I should just be like reading and not focusing on how long it's going to take me to get to the next chapter. But it can be really intimidating when you see how thick a chapter is, and it is thick. It is thick, and you know it's going to take you a long time to get to the next chapter. It's disheartening, especially as somebody who loves short chapters. I don't put a bookmark on the last page I read, and I try to remember the page number. I have a question for you. I feel like this video is just me asking you guys a ton of questions, but like, if you do this, are you typically ending on a chapter so it's easy to remember, or are you sometimes like stopping mid-chapter where it's harder to remember what page you're on? That is the question that I have for you, because like, I could easily do this with like just the chapter number, like piece of cake. But if it was just like mid-chapter, I have a really bad memory, so I would never be able to do this, but like, mad respect to you. I like to read sideways. I get headaches when my head isn't supported like the infant that I am. Ooh, we've got a member of the Sideways Reader Club. Okay. I'm not opposed to reading on my side, but like, honestly, do what you gotta do. If you get headaches easily and you need your head supported, like, lay sideways, my friend. You should get like one of those airplane pillows for your neck and see if other positions would work out for you, though, because I don't want you to live your whole life only being able to read sideways. It'd be nice to like change up your position every now and then. I like to do embroidery when reading, and it's a mess. My question, not me having another question, but I want to know, are you saying that you're reading a physical book while you're embroidering? Is that what you're saying? I think that's what you're saying. I could understand listening to an audiobook while you're doing the embroidery stuff, all that exciting stuff. Physically reading a book, now that is a challenge. And how many times do you stab yourself in the finger? That's what I want to know. Like, that sounds dangerous. That sounds like a trip to the ER in the making. How many times have you poked yourself? Have you ever gotten blood on your book? What does your embroidery end up looking like at the end? I need to know. If I am not invested by the first 50 to 100 pages, then I DNF. Okay, Abby, I see you out here boasting about your ability to DNF books. Couldn't be me. Go ahead and say it. Just say you're better than me. Just say it. Say it, Abby. No, but actually, I am jealous of you, because I am the type of person where like, I am very encouraging of DNFing. I'm like, if you're not enjoying a book, then you DNF it. And yet I am all the time reading books where I'm like, I am really not enjoying this, and I force myself to finish it. I really struggle with the DNF. I want to be better at the DNF, but I can't do it. There's something about me where I'm just like, I'm holding out hope that it might get better, that I might reach the end and it will turn out to be the best book I've ever read. But that rarely happens. Like, rarely. And I want to be a DNFer, but I am what's the opposite of a DNFer? Keep reading the bad book. Did finish. DF. Oh, this is bad. I don't know. Reading 2 to 3 books at once, sometimes switching between them after each chapter. See, I am all aboard the read multiple books at the same time train. In fact, I am the conductor. Let's go down the tracks. But where you have me pulling on the brakes is switching between books with each chapter. That's where I'm a little bit like, I'm pretty sure my brain would like explode. That's a lot of switching. That's a lot of back and forth. And I'm pretty sure that I would just thread the stories together in my mind. Like, I feel like that would be a much more difficult way to read multiple books at the same time where you're switching between each chapter, and I'm pretty sure I would give myself a headache every time I read a book. If you're able to do that and things are able to make sense and you're able to keep the story straight, then I applaud it. You can have your own train and go down your own track. You do you, boo. I tend to keep my bookmark on the page where I want to stop. I do this every now and then as well, and I find it to be like very motivating, because you can kind of like see the pages move closer and closer to the bookmark, closer and closer to your goal, and there's something just like so thrilling and exciting about it. It's just like, it's a rush. Sometimes I'll have to take the bookmark where I have my goal mark in the book and move it forward a few pages, because I definitely like overestimated my reading abilities. But the good thing about that is that nobody is watching typically when I'm reading, so I can move my goal mark whenever, wherever I want. You know? But now that I've admitted this on camera, you guys can judge me for that, which is okay. I take it. But I am all the time overestimating how much I can read. I'm like, oh, yeah, I can read like 200 pages in 30 minutes? No, he cannot. Not reading series books in order. Don't ask me why. Not reading series books in order. Not reading series books in order. Not reading series books in order. Friend, what are you doing? I am judging you. Why? Why would you do that to yourself? How confusing do the series tend to be? Are you able to like put 2 and 2 together and fill in all the missing pieces? But also, why don't you just read the way it's supposed to be read? I'm very concerned. I don't know why you would do this to yourself, and I am judging you. I keep the dust jacket on the book and use the flaps as a bookmark. Back flap at the halfway mark. I mean, that's why the dust jacket is there, right? I have done this many a time, but then I realized that I was damaging my dust jacket while doing that. And like, if you don't care about the dust jacket, which I get it. A lot of people don't care about the dust jackets. I do and I do not care about the dust jackets, even though I currently have mine locked up in a dungeon right now. My books are all nude. Keeping track of all the pages I've read for the year. Only slightly neurotic. I actually really love this idea and I could see myself doing this as well. I've always thought it'd be fun to have like a chart where it has all the days of the year and each day you like go in and fill in how much you've read, how many pages you've read. And then at the end of the year, you can just like see all the spikes and like dips in your reading life. I think that would just be so fun. Might have to act on that next year. 2024, baby. If I'm reading a mystery book, I always read a light book at the same time to compensate the scary. I think that's a smart move because you're able to enjoy the scaries, but you're also able to relieve yourself of the scaries by reading the light book. So like, I'm here for that. It's like when you eat really spicy food and your mouth is on fire and you like chug milk and it kind of relieves the spice. That's all you're doing. You're just relieving the scaries. And I'm here for that. Wait for series to be completely published to binge read. You could be like me where you wait for the series to be completed by the entire series and then never touch it ever. I am not proud of who I've become. When reading, I have to have my duck nightlight on next to me so it feels like I have company. How dare you drop the fact that you have a duck nightlight and not share it with the class? If you're going to tell us that you have a duck nightlight, you're going to have to send a picture of it. I'm offended. I'm hurt. I need to see this duck nightlight. I too would like a duck nightlight to accompany on all my reading adventures. Reading upside down. Bestie, are you okay? Convening the council, my sister, when I am picking which book to read next to talk out the options. That sounds like an ideal situation though, especially because lately for some reason I feel like I've been having a crisis every time I go to pick out a new book. And it would be nice to have a sounding board to bounce off my craziness onto in hopes that when it hit the other person, it would make sense and they would be able to guide me in the right direction. Telling myself I can't use the bathroom until I finish the chapter I'm on. Dude, I've been there. Why are we like this? Why do we hold our bladders? It's not good to hold your bladder. I do this all the time. I'm just like, I can wait. I can pee when I get to the next chapter. I can hold it. It'll be fine. But then there are times when I'm holding it and my bladder is hurting and I'm like, this is not good. The book can wait. Or can it? Can it? I don't think so. Not reading a book until the author announces the date of the sequel. I think you're smart for that, honestly, because you could end up in a situation where the author takes forever to write the next book in a series. I always time my reading speed, how many pages I can read in an hour of every book I pick up. I feel like this would be so distracting for me because I would just be thinking about the timer and I would be overly like analyzing how fast I was reading while I was reading and I wouldn't actually be reading. I would just be thinking about how fast I was reading and if I was reading fast enough. But also now I'm curious and I want to do this and see how fast I read. I tend to read an author's work in publication order when the books aren't related. See, this is a fun way to read an author's books though, because you can kind of see how they have evolved over time or how they have taken several steps backwards, because sometimes the quality of the work goes backwards. But more times than not, you're able to see like growth in the author's writing, and that's always fun. When I'm laying on my side in bed reading, I only read with one eye open. Just me. Okay, but do you switch between eyes? Do you give one eye a break and then open the other eye and like let that one go to town? Like, I need the deets. What are the deets? Because I imagine there are times when one of the eyes gets tired and you need to flip to the other eye. And how often are you flipping between eyes? So many questions today, you guys. Looking at the pages I have left in a book, so much left for chaos, or how's it fixable with so little left? Yes, this. I do this as well. I am constantly looking at the amount of pages I have left and being like, are we going to be able to fix this situation? Or am I going to be very upset? Is it going to end up on a plot twist? Is it going to lead into the sequel? Like, those are the things that like run through my mind, but I am always like really sus. And I'm eager to see if like the amount of pages I have left will be able to fix the situation. More times than not, it's not the case. More times than not, I'm either disappointed or it is that like plot twist, cliffhanger, and the author is setting up another book in the series. Subconsciously proofreading a book I'm reading to relax. Something tells me you're a writer or an editor editor. I have never in my life bought a book from a bookstore because they are just too expensive. Honestly valid, and this is why I am so grateful that libraries exist. I physically cannot read a book without explaining every single thought to my invisible audience. I love this so much, actually. I'm just envisioning someone just like going off to their invisible audience, talking about the book that they're reading ever so passionately. I spend more time setting the mood to read than actually reading. I feel really attacked right now and I do not like it, but I have been there. But here's the thing. Sometimes where you're reading is just as important as the part of sitting down and reading, because reading is like the most relaxing thing. But like if your environment is a mess, a disaster, it's hard to focus, it's hard to relax, it's hard to fall into the story because you're worried about the mess, you know? So like cleaning up your space, having it all cozy and tidy can affect your reading. At least it does for me. I can't speak for everybody, but like for me, reading while doing your business in the bathroom. You gotta do what you gotta do, boo, and if that involves poo, then poo, poo, poo. That is it for me judging and roasting and reacting to your weird reading habits. I feel like I related to a lot of these. I feel like a lot of these weren't even that weird. I was like, oh, I've done that. Oh, I've been there. Ooh, interesting. But I want to hear from you guys now. What are some of your weird reading habits? Drop them in the comments down below. If you like this video, be sure to go and hit that like button. If you want to see more bookish content from me, be sure to go and hit subscribe or go and hit that bell icon and you'll be notified every time I post new videos. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope your day is bright, that tomorrow is brighter. Keep reading what your heart desires, and I will see you soon with a new video. Bye.